In this episode, we're going to talk about how to market your business using Google Ads. I sit down with Caesar from Symphony Advertising, and we're going to go over some high-level items of how to get started, some mistakes people make when they think about running Google Ads, how some companies spend $10,000 to $40,000 a month in ads, and just some things to look out for when you want to use Google Ads. And if you are looking to start your detailing business, click the link down below and download my ultimate guide to start your detailing business. It has over 10,000 words of pure content to help you start and grow. Let's get started with this episode. And welcome to a new episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see that we are actually not in the same room. So this is the first time we're doing like a actual video conference podcast here. So I have Caesar here from Symphony Advertising. He is my brother. And he runs a digital marketing agency. He's the one that's actually had the room next door to me for a while. So Caesar, real quick, it's been a while since you last came on. Pause. Do you want to kind of share what you do with your agency and just kind of what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. So pretty simple. We help local businesses with their web design, Google Ads, and local SEO. Mainly, we do a little social media, we do a little bit of blogs, we do a little bit of design, which I absolutely hate because that's not our forte. But that's mainly what we do. We got about 50 customers rotating in and out. Unfortunately, that's our growth cap right now. And I don't know, we got customers pretty much all over the United States. And yeah, this is what we do.
Yeah, so the reason why I want to have Caesar on here is just to kind of share some more insight into Google Ads. Just because the cool thing about running an agency is that you get to see so many more. Like if as a detailer running your detailing business, you for the most part always just have your own singular view of your business, and it's kind of really hard to compare how you're doing versus others or get new tips or strategies from other businesses just because you're running solo. But if you're running an agency, then you get the benefit of like looking at so many like Caesar said he has 50 accounts that I guess maybe not accounts, but let's say he has like 30 accounts that he manages, and each are varying from maybe a few hundred to tens of thousands of dollars in ad spend per month in different industries and different areas. So you get to Caesar gets to see a lot more in terms of like what goes on in Google Ads accounts and what works and what doesn't. So I wanted to start off this is a fly right here. I wanted to start off this episode, Caesar, with like, there's a lot of people that are skeptical on like sometimes anything marketing related, but specifically Google Ads paying money. So just before we even break down what Google Ads are, just to start on a good note is like, what are some success stories of one or two of your clients that like they came to you? You took over their ad account, and now they're doing, they're actually growing and such.
Perfect. So it's crazy because like running an agency, it's not necessarily it's not magic. Like we don't do magic. It's not like we're smarter than anybody. It's just some locations are better equipped to create demand versus other locations or other businesses. So when you line up a good business in a good area with good services, etc., and you put ads up, and they get demand, they're able to handle it. And then some people flop. Some places they don't have demand for it. So here's some examples. Literally, the life-changing Google Ads campaigns are somewhat of flukes, right? You got this rural place in Prosper, Texas. You set up some ads, and because there's no one in that area, they get all the demand, right? They get all the leads. Or you have a business that's been around for 30 years. They're well known in their community. They have staff that's been there for like 10, 15 years. They've never run ads before. They start running ads. This is a mechanic shop. They start running ads, and immediately they get like a 4 or 5x in their production just because people are now finding them online instead of relying on foot traffic or word of mouth. And so, I have examples from people going from $250 to $500 to $1,000, which is for like a single operation, is nice. And then I have people who started a mechanic shop and they started at, $500 to $1,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 a month, where, and then, success stories turn into bad stories really quick when they start hiring people, because then it's another problem. So like there's a taste of success, but if you keep scaling up, it actually gets more difficult. So like the mechanic shop hired more mechanics, and they're like, hey Caesar, we actually need to like triple the amount of leads we're getting because I got two people sitting on the side. And I'm like, that's not what we signed up for. But the success is there's plenty of success stories, but I think the right success that people should look for is, okay, there's multiple channels that you can get customers from. If I can pay Google Ads, invest in Google Ads, I don't know, $1,000 and get a steady stream of customers from that channel alone, that's a win. But you still got to do your local SEO. You still got to do your word of mouth. You still got to have your foot traffic. You still got to do your social media. But if you can build one up, because what happens too is, I'm gonna go forever if you don't stop me. What happens too is a lot of companies rely solely on Google Ads, and the problem is whenever Google Ads goes down, whenever there's a problem with your account, whenever freaking they run out of credit on their credit card and they're out of money, but they'll get the money, but they don't have the money at that time. The ads go down, and when the ads go down, guess what? The phone stops ringing, and so it's a very they hold you to that. They have a hold of you. Like without Google Ads, that business doesn't exist. And so while it's good that it works, I wouldn't put all my eggs on there, at least not for ever, or split it up a bit. But those are some examples from generating calls,
Yeah.
generating leads from Google Ads. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to kind of clarify, when he says they went from 500 to 1,000 to 2,000, whatever, he's referring to ad spend. So like they started off spending $500 a month in ads, and then went up to 1,000, then went up to 15, then went up to however much he said. What's kind of what's the smallest account either you manage or managed, and then what's the highest account in terms of ad spend per month? What's the highest you managed?
And it's not fair because the smallest we've managed, and we still offer it. Like if somebody just wants to try it out, we'll say, look, try $250 a month and see how that does. And there are some accounts. I literally have an account right now that I think they got like 8 conversions off of 250, which is it's a lead, right? It doesn't mean they actually came in and stuff, but they got 8 customers potentially from their 250. The next month they did $500 and they got 22 conversions from it. So it's like, that's not fair. I know plenty of other businesses that are doing 1,500 and they don't get that same kind of thing. So as low as 250, and then our biggest one is like 40,000. But it's separate, it's different businesses, different ticket items, and it just depends on like what you need it to feed, right? Like if it's for example, a barbershop we help, they spend 2,000 a month, but it's because they have 6 barbers. If you're a solo operation with 1 booth, you're probably good with 500. So you kind of have to scale it correctly.
Yeah. I mean, so like, and it is crazy to hear like that a company can spend, what you said, 40,000 a month in ad spend, right? And I believe that's the one that they sell products, right? Like actual, like it's not a service based business. It's
a
products.
dentist.
Oh, it's a dentist. Okay, so see, that's crazy. Imagine a dentist spending. I mean, think about a detailer spending $40,000. Like that's just like that's $480,000 a year in ad spend alone, not including the management fee, right? Because the good and bad thing about hiring an agency is like, one, they do it for you, but then two, you pay them to do it for you, right? So the people that are spending however much, there's a management fee on top of that, obviously. But like to spend $480,000 a year, and then you're like that, and if they keep on doing it, like they must be seeing some success from it, right?
And to come on top, to actually yes.
So let's go down that rabbit hole a little bit of like what. Okay, so let's break down some basic terminology. So in Google Ads is when you're paying Google to show your ads on the first page of Google, right? That's basically what it is. So if we're detailers and we're in Austin, Texas, we would get in Google Ads and run ads for keywords like Austin auto detailing, Austin paint correction, Austin mobile detailing. And when someone clicks on our ad, we get charged X amount. Now when someone clicks on the link on the first page of Google, it's called the cost per click, right? Now a cost per click, right, will change depending on your location, on your service, on the search volume, on a lot of factors. Now with that basic understanding right there, like let's say the dentist, right? Because again, depending on your area, your industry, how popular, like a lot of factors go into like how much it costs to run ads. So like just the other day we talked about the lawyer cost per click. So like what's the average cost per click for that dentist? What's the average cost per click like on the high side of lawyers? And then like kind of compare like lawyers spend. I already know the answer, but lawyers spend around like let's say $100 to $200 per click in Google Ads. A dentist, you tell me, and then compare that to like if you know any like like the mechanic. What are the differences in the cost per click on those three kind of businesses?
All right. So I'm gonna. Here's how I define it. Right. It's based off of frequency. I call it frequency. You can call it volume. Meaning, for things that are more often, like lower hanging fruit, like a haircut, the amount of people that are looking for a barber near me is endless. Every single person needs a hair. Not every single person, but there's a big majority of people that need a big population of people who need a haircut, right? So those are endless. There's going to be so much volume for that. And as there's more volume, the cost per click is lower just because there's more to go around. Now, for the lawyer, they're specifically going for accident attorney, which is like, you land one of those, you can make millions of dollars for a law firm. And so everybody's willing to pay thousands of dollars in a campaign for that, like easily. So, but the problem is, imagine if we had a lot of successful personal injury attorneys. Do you know what that would mean? It would mean that everybody on the highway, everybody on the street are just colliding, crashing, truck drivers just running over people. Like, it's not that common. Like, yes, it happens, but like, it's not that common. And so because it's not that common, and because it's a high value, or you can call it high ticket item, and because there's less demand for it, it skyrockets up. And so there are some cases where like it's actually unfortunate for a lot of small lawyers to compete in personal injury because they can't, even if they're good. Like, the customer we have for this lawyer, they're small. They have one office. There are a couple lawyers, but they're like, I'm not, they were like, man, we want to compete, but
yeah.
we can't. We really can't.
Are they spending money on ads?
Yes,
though?
they are. They're spending about 10,000. Well, they're spending 10,000
A month?
Yeah, a month. About 4,000 or 5,000 of that is specific. Because here's what I told them. For like a year and a half, we just ran like general. I'm a big fan of general stuff to get people in the door. Once they know you, once you service them or they become a customer, your network referral grows, right? So I think it's better to have 1,000 customers at any price point because they can refer you versus waiting for that one home run client, right? And out of those thousands, something else, they're going to need you again or they're going to refer you again. But I was like, okay, before we like completely stop bringing in new customers for you guys, because they were like, let's just do personal injury. And I was like, are you guys cool with, because I see the calls they get. It's like a lot of calls that they get. I was like, can you guys still survive if, 50% of your calls went away from Google Ads? They're like, let's split it up. And so it's a little bit more experimental right now. They have gotten calls from it. But the problem with Google too is that if I say car accident attorney, like look at that word, right? Car accident attorney. That means somebody needs a car, it's a car accident. But Google and their freaking, you think they're high tech, right? Do you think they're the top of the line, edge cutting stuff, automated algorithms, all that jazz? We get clicks that cost $78 for car ticket attorney, like a speeding ticket, like past a stop sign.
Yeah.
And the value of a speeding ticket versus the value of a personal injury attorney is like, they'll shoot me, if we keep getting the car accident. So that's where, somebody who knows how to do Google Ads or just pay attention to it to say, hey, the word accident, that combination, car ticket, make it a negative keyword. Because they still charge you an obscene amount. You can get the case dismissed for like, 50 more bucks. And so that's something to watch out for. But that's the definition. Higher ticket, less volume, shoot super high. And you have actually go ahead.
And real quick on that one though, is that it's crazy to see like how you said like, yeah, they're a small law firm, like they're only spending like $10,000 a month in ad spend. Like again, like you talk to probably 99.9% of detailers, and you hear them say like, "Oh, that's a small offer, man. They can only spend like 10,000 a month. Like they're not competing with you." And it's like that's like it's just crazy to see the difference in the industries of like, man, like detailers shoot for the moon to make 10,000 a month in revenue, let alone like
Oh, yeah.
they have an excess of making they have enough to make 10,000 in ad spend alone, on top of there's multiple attorneys there that they pay for and whatever. It's just crazy to hear. So
Yeah, and so
Go ahead.
to add a little bit to that, we work with like a daycare center. It's like a party place for kids, and they're actually in the Heights. And they called me one day. He's like, "Hey, Caesar, it's actually really slow, man. Like we're 1 week into the month. We only made $40,000 so far." I was like, "That's all me.
yeah.
My bad."
What's the context on that one? Like, it's
So like,
how much do they spend in ad spend, and like what's kind of like their
so they've been around forever. This is one of those like old businesses that are these are my favorite. They're old, they're well known, they're established. They sold the business to a new owner. That owner found us through local SEO, and then we revamped their site. But dude, they're only spending $1,500 a month on Google Ads, so a lot of it's already word of mouth. It's like it's been there forever. When it's funny. See, this is so what's messed up about like the world sometimes. Not messed up, but like it just doesn't make sense. We built this is before we built the new site. We were just running ads. Like for the first time, they're spending $1,500 a month on ads, and they actually had a down week when we started the ad. So I was like, so how does this make sense? We're investing more, yet we're making less. I always assume like, okay, maybe was it slow last year around this time? And I don't know, like if we stop the ads, do you think that's gonna help? Like it doesn't make logical sense. But luckily it was that. It was and now they're happy, but it's more about like environment. Like yes, the ads could be perfect, optimized, right keywords, but if there's like if you build a hamburger shop, a hamburger place, and nobody's hungry, you lost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, like whether it's the Google Ads or SEO or whatever, it's like it's still just a conduit to the outcome of like you still need everything still needs to fall in place for it to work. It's like if like during a hurricane here in Texas and we're running and we spend the most ads we ever do, and it's like, why isn't no one booking? It was like, there's a hurricane coming, dude. Like no one cares about booking their car right now for a detail, and it's like everything has to like kind of work in unison between the environment in terms of like your local area. Like if a freeze is coming through, no one's booking. Like dead flat, everything stops. And go ahead.
And it's funny you say that because since we work with several local services, like when it gets cold and it starts freezing, some businesses are like, all right, Caesar, let's put a little bit more money. Let's go ahead and update the site. Like they're ready. And then vice versa, when it gets hot, they go down. So like we have a company in Grand Rapids. It's actually a detailer. And in Michigan, like hell freezes over. Like it's you can't go outside. And so they're like, dude, pause everything. Like we're not gonna do anything until the sun comes back up. Whereas when there's a storm, we have a customer like an electrician, and there's an outage. They're busy. They're like, it's kind of messed up, Like all the houses are off. This is our time to make money,
Yes, someone has to service the damage, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the nature of how every business differs. To where, again, for us, or for detailers, for landscapers, pool installers, concrete installers, asphalt installers, like if it's bad weather outside, it's like like we might have to slow down, reschedule, whatever. But if there's a flood and the water damage restoration people are on standby to say, hey, our phone's about to blow up right now. Like we're about to be sent out all over the place. Like we're about to get like massively booked out right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way things go. I think we are coming up on our 20-minute mark. So it just maybe like the next 5 minutes or so to keep it high level, because again, like there's a lot of skeptics on anything marketing, especially when you have to pay Google or Instagram or Facebook.
Oh my God,
to see. So like,
can I say something about that?
Yeah, go for it.
Before so like the skepticism, a lot of the times I have found is on the person. Like they don't understand yet, right? Like we've had plenty of people just come say like, hey, like I've done Google Ads before, or we run the ads for them, and they're like, dude, we spent $50. Why don't I've had no calls. Google Ads is a scam. It's bot traffic. All I've gotten is solicitations from the website. We're still not number one. And it's like, oh, okay, you just don't understand. Like, you don't understand how the world works. Because if everybody could just throw some money at this program, then, there'd be no problems in this world. And so, a lot of, and honestly, like, I feel like that's when a lot of businesses don't make it, when they have like unrealistic expectations of, even when things are good, they're like, oh, I'm going to go hire people. I'm going to go rent a shop, etc. And it's like, I would have calmed down, because it's not always going to be good. Like, it's never always good. I mean, you can have like consistency, which is great, but it's never going to be like, oh, I'm going to, I think you should think with a what if things went bad, and then kind of navigate like that, instead of like, oh, we're going to the moon. Like, it's really hard,
No, yeah, and that's to your point too, of like, that's why it helps to have more than one lead source coming in, because again, like, if SEO for some reason, like, we're doing everything by the book, or for the most part by the book, so like we wouldn't get penalized or anything. But if we were doing some shady stuff, and then Google does an update, and then like our website goes from the first page on multiple keywords for multiple things, and we get booted off, and we go all the way down, and like we lose all our traffic, and that's my only source of leads, well then, like, yeah, like I'm pretty stuck. But then, like, good thing we do have word of mouth, good thing we do have repeat customers, good thing that we do have, we run Google ads that like keeps the flow going. That way, like, yeah, like if anytime you're, and not that it's bad, because like I always recommend focus on one thing for the most part, because then that's, but like there's a time and place for everything. So yeah, like I think, like, to your point of like people, and same thing too, like the exact opposite. If they see it not working, like if it's working, they go all in, and then if it doesn't work at all, they'll also be like, oh, stop it, no, it's not working, no, I'm gonna quit, whatever. So yes, I think, yeah, like if I mean, you have a lot more history, but like as Caesar said, like if you can start off with $200 a month. Not that it's going to change your business. Not that, oh man, like fully, I guess you could, because Caesar has an example of that. But like, start off with something where it's like, it's not going to kill your bank. You're not going to go pull a line of credit. You're not hitting your credit. It's like $200. Mm-hmm. And just like, do your very best to see what you can get out of that, just to get started. Like, just to get started.
Two examples. One very that happens a lot when people try to become a customer with us is their Google profile page goes down. The Google profile page is like their only source of leads, and so because they're doing, like you said, they're doing some shady stuff, like they set up like 3 of them, or they're they're putting the keyword as the business name, like Symphony Advertising, best web design in Houston, when clearly that's not it, or they're they're doing gray stuff, gray hat stuff,
black hat,
they're doing black hat stuff that does work. But I don't recommend it, because the day they take it down, you're screwed.
At a cost, and
then you have to create another one. Like, I know people who have like multiple websites for the same thing, leaving the same number. I'm like, dude, you're getting in trouble financially, because whatever. Anyways, so when people come and they're like, hey, I need to do ads because my Google profile is down, I'm like, I'm not helping, dude. Like, it's already a bad situation. One. The second thing was, I completely forgot. It was on the point of something that you were saying, but you get the gist.
All right, but we'll end it right there. That was a nice little entry level episode for people wanting to run Google ads. But yeah, I said, like, if don't be discouraged by hearing 10,000 for it, bro. Like, just with your best of your ability, learn how to do it and try to run Google ads for $100 a month. If you get one lead, and that one lead books for a $50 wash, I mean, you at least broke almost halfway to the halfway mark, and almost broke even. Like, that's really the best. And then over time, like in the next 4 months, you spend 100, like the slowest progression ever. But that's better than thinking it's some like boogeyman that you can't figure out.
And the skill too, just to go one step higher too, is allocation of resources, right? Like, if you only service somebody and then you keep the money, you never allocate money correctly, right? So like, if you wanted to keep growing, you would allocate funds to ads. If you wanted to keep growing, you allocate money to a person to help you. If you always keep everything, or you never make any, you don't really grow. You have to figure out, like, okay, I have $100. How can I split this up to be super efficient? You don't have to use all 100 on ads, because that's dumb too. But you got to figure out what your ratio is.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, we'll go ahead and end it right there. You can find Caesar at where because you post content now. Instagram, TikTok. What's the best?
TikTok is probably the one I vomit the most on, which is just Caesar Gill, CESARGIL.
Yeah, it's Caesar. It's Caesar Guild. That's like it's like you include the
It's
ICS
not
in
there.
there.
Not that one. I had the.
Oh, it's not?
Because usually it's taken. But I was on TikTok when it was Musically, and I just put Caesar Gill. So
Oh,
it's TikTok.com
nice. All right, well, yeah.
/ Caesar Gill.
Oh,
and then click
nice.
through that. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll link it down below if you want to check them out. All right then. Thank you very much, Caesar. Talk to you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.